Ranger, Barbarian, and Acrobat.
Welcome back, TN Toys, and welcome to the realm of Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon version from the 1980s. First wave, we get 3 of the 6 children characters, which is great. And fingers crossed we'll get the other 3, and this isn't the end of the line, with Avenger and the Dungeon Master being the other 2 characters that they did announce in the first wave. Okay, it's a mixed bag. Are they perfect? No. Do they look okay? I'd say mostly yes. For me, Hank is the weakest, with Diana being the strongest, and Bobby being a very close weakest. Let's run through it. They've got a lot of articulation, if you can move it. Like, I'll say this right now, like, Hank's legs are ridiculously stiff to move. Both the... Oh, knee. Do you know, I'm not even trying moving that. Like, that cut there's fine. That move's fine. But moving these bloody double-jointed knees... Now, I'm not a fan of double-jointed knees. I just think it's more to break on the toy, if you ask me. Personally, I know other people will argue at me and they go, oh, no. I just think more can go wrong. And, like, the elbows are fine on this guy. Perfectly fine. Now, there is like some more hand articulation there, but because of the way the cuffs are designed, you can't really get that motion anyway, so it's kind of a redundant piece of articulation. Because it doesn't really move much at all, so it just seems kind of pointless. Also, you'll notice there's a lot of blemishes on my copy of Hank here. Even extra silver blemishes right there. Big old splodge next to that one there. Different coloured knee to the rest of the plastic. Like, that one looks fine, but this one, no word of a lie, that is a lighter green than that green and that green. And you can see another splodge there. Now, this is the problem with buying online, not attacking the shop that I bought them from, but just in general buying online. You can't see what you're getting, you can't sort of compare them in the shops. But now you've got these blind boxes, you can't do that anyway. So it's another, like, oh, not sure if I like that. But that's by the by. It is what it is. No changing that for the time being. And I don't particularly like the open mouth to Hank here. He just looks a bit buck-toothed, and it doesn't look right. They should have taken cues from the artwork on the toy box. Serious face, mouth closed. And looking at that, looks like Hank has been living underground for a while, because he looks a lot pastier than he does in the artwork. So Hank needed to be a lot more tanned in this plastic, which is a shame, because Hank's a lot of people's favourite character. He's the leader of the crew, and yeah, I just think he's definitely the weakest. And this bouncing up bit of plastic here, which just gets in the way, as soon as I got it out of the box, was it has no neck. And then I was like, oh my god, you've got to pull this thing down to make it look like he's meant to look, because they only glued one side because of the arm movement. They were too afraid of things going wrong with the arm movement. Now, ways to combat this: make this fabric, which makes me think about the thief character. What will they do with her hood and cloak? Will that be all plastic, or will they give her a fabric cloak? I think this could be in fabric, or B, glue both sides down, like the back is glued down, and open up this area here, so you don't have those issues with the arm movement. Or it could have just been sculpted on. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that one? Yeah, I don't know. This just didn't please me too much, that one. But yeah, accessory wise, came with both versions of the bow. I'll probably have to display him with this one. And came with 6-sided diamond dice. 6-sided? I'm not counting. No, an 8-sided diamond dice. Next up, Deanna, the best one of the bunch by a mile. And she came out much better than her render. She doesn't look overly much like the animation model there, if you ask me. But she does look 100 times better than the render. The render gave her like silly big cartoony eyes, whereas the actual figure itself, the eyes are a lot smaller and a lot more proportioned, and she looks great. great articulation, nothing wrong with the movement on her at all. Like, all the articulation works perfectly. She holds her weapons fine, no issues there. You've got obviously more like the attacking, swooshing version. And yeah, the leg joints are perfectly fine, no issues with her whatsoever. She came out perfect. Articulation, like I said, all works, nothing wrong. Holds a weapon fine, head moves fine, no weird chesting, no weird open mouth looking thing. Yeah, no, she by far the best of the first 3 figures, by far. Now Bobby. Now Bobby is a nightmare to stand up. So I'll just put the weapon in his hand. I'll try it again. Okay. 50-50. He might stand, he might not stand. I'm sure that's the first time I've done it where he's actually stood up. But I'm going to keep it in. Now, his head, it's not on a ball joint like everybody else's. Like hers, lovely ball joint, works fine. Even Hank's is fine, works fine. But Bobby's seems to be on like a more annoying peg. Now, I've tried to swivel his head round straight out of the box, and it's of that plastic where you think you're turning it. It's not turning. You are twisting and bending that plastic until it snaps. So be careful with your bobbies. Don't move that head. If it doesn't want to move, stop moving it, because it will snap. Now, when I was playing with him, I managed to get it like moved slightly this way, and his head was stuck that way, and I'm like, why can't I move it back? And yeah, he just would not go back. So yeah, the hot water treatment worked a trick, and now he's dry again. That thing doesn't want to be twisting anymore. So do be careful with your bobbies, and you can see like that bit there. Now, I've not done that since getting him out the packet. That's already on a splitting journey. Fresh from the factory, out of the box. That's how they decided to leave it packaged, and that's the one I got. A bit annoying. It all the same articulation as the other characters. Now, out of all the things that are loose on Bobby, his ankles are a bit loose on my one. Like the boot cut on one side is, oh, you can see now, it's not even moving. Not even moving again. Same thing. If it doesn't want to move, don't try forcing it. This arm seems to be fine at the elbow. The shoulders are fine, up and down, round. I think the wrist articulation again all seems to be an issue. It takes a lot of force, and it's force I don't want to be putting on this figure. Now, I think on my one, this joint, this bit here, has been put in incorrectly and the wrong way round, because it seems to be like the sharp edge there and not there. It probably should be on the back so you can sort of have the arm straight, but yeah. So when you have it straight like that, you've got this nubbly nubbin bit sticking out there, which is kind of annoying. So, yes, Bobby didn't turn out particularly great. Uni, on the other hand, she came out fine. One bit of articulation, no paint splodges. She came out absolutely perfect. So out of these 4 characters, it was 2 girls that came off completely unblemished and without any issues. Whereas Bobby, joints too stiff, don't like the peg they used for his head, because it will end up breaking the toy. So don't move it and break it. And Hank, well, my Hank in particular, that's riddled with issues like the paint splodges, the goofy teeth, and this bit here just jumping up. Not good. Not good. And it's a shame. I'm happy to have him in the collection, but I wish they could have been a little bit better. Let's do a few comparisons as well. So we've got He-Man, leader of his crew on Eternia, with Hank from Dungeons and Dragons. Again, the cool thing here is that, you know, they're meant to be teenagers, so the smaller scale works perfectly fine when displaying these characters together on a shelf if you want to do things like that. I think it works fine for me. Looks fine. And then who else we got? Leonardo. Again, Leonardo I think's about the same age as Hank. Hank's 15, and Turtle's about 14, 15 as well. That height is fine. Or they tell them to make it smaller, but it kind of works fine there. And then we've got Flash Gordon. Again, the NECA scale's a bit taller as well, but I think that looks fine. If you want to display these 80s icons on the shelf together. What else we got? Let's move that out of the way. They'll probably start falling over in a minute. Yeah, look at that. I'm going to leave them falling down. It'd be wrong not to have the two staff-wielding girls together, Chitara and Diana. Actually, I think they're quite cool together. Actually, quite a cool display piece. They're both on there. And who can we compare Bobby with? Another small figure. Okay, Orko from the Origins line. It's actually better than the Classics version. And there he is. The Orko came out a lot better than Bobby here. And Hank. Well, what do you guys and girls think of how the Dungeons and Dragons toy line turned out? How did yours turn out? How do you like the way mine have? Do you have the same gripes with your Hank and your Bobbies? Do you have any gripes with your Diana? Don't forget to love, like, subscribe, and see you guys and girls in the next video.